Alright, well it's the last day of excavation at Epiacum Holymire 2026, and as is often the case in archaeology, you don't start finding things till right at the end, and we're no exception. Today, well, certainly in Richard's trenches over near Holymire on the south side of the fort, we're finding more cremations and such like, and here in Trench 11 on the east side of the fort we're finding structures and buildings, but industrial structures also. If we start at the south end of the trench, you might remember that there's a gully running along here. We put a section through there. It's quite a good gully. I'm not sure what it's doing, whether it's a beam slot. It's fairly flat bottomed, but it was running into a perpendicular return, running roughly up there of a dark, well, I say it's a return, it's a dark spread, and there's a lot of stonework above it. We dug a slot at right angles to the trench here, and we found it's just going down and down. We've just about bottomed it, I think, now, and it's interesting how there was a lot of lead slag again and iron slag apparently amongst this. There's stones in the bottom. There's two layers. The upper layer is much like everything else in the trench. There's a black layer of charcoal and Roman pot and things like that. But below it was a kind of, what would you call it? A kind of industrial, sandy kind of waste material. Like industrial waste. Yeah, there's a term for it, and I can't remember. It's something. It's not colliery waste. Foundry waste. That's it. It's that kind of thing. Was in the bottom, and there's Roman pot and all kinds. And I'm just wondering if this spread of stones, if we ever get to come back, we should maybe investigate it a bit more. But there's definitely been some kind of industrial processing going on here. It's quite a deep deposit, this, and it's exactly perpendicular to that gully leading into, well, I think what's going on is this spread is actually cutting the gully, because there's no sign of the gully in that section face. So that's interesting. That's one thing. We also, I'm going to ignore the guys digging here in the middle, because we'll come back to that, which is most interesting. But at this end of the trench, this is terrific as well. So there's a linear spread, a linear stone feature with straight-sided cuts. It might be better if I come round to show you. So it's all trampled on now, but we had the gully, the roadside ditch for the Maiden Way along there, and then into here. From the edge of it, there's a linear feature running along there. It's straight cut and it bulges out at the end. It looks a bit like a flue. It was stone filled and it was absolutely packed with slag, and I think it's lead slag. So it could be that we've got, because it was packed all amongst the stones and it was completely filled with this stuff under and amongst the stones, that we could have an area of lead processing. Whether that means smelting, I'm not sure, but it's got this glossy kind of black slag throughout, akin to what Paul Frodsham was finding in a Maiden Way trench years ago, over there in the distance beyond, near the well house battle. Anyhow, Jenny was digging in the middle of the trench here, what we thought might be a drain, so we said to explore it in a bit more detail. And interestingly, we have come onto these very large slabs here. 3 great big ones in a line with a very convincing construction cut there as well. Maybe a return as well, the darker material. But the fact that these blocks are here with a nice edge on the north side suggests a building. You know, it could be a drain, but it's structural anyhow, and it's interesting that it is at depth here. This is deeper, this is below what we were considering to be natural. So it could be that all the natural in this trench, and if we look up there, there's lots of what we thought was natural, because it was fairly clean. but it turns out it might well be redeposited. So if we ever do come back, we're going to have to dig quite a lot of that off. But we know the depth now of the Roman kind of occupation. Certainly the in situ, undisturbed Roman occupation. So that's terrific. Whew. Alright, if I get chance I'll pop over and see Richard, but we're right towards the end of the last day and the backfilling is imminent.